Hello and welcome to the Bel-E and Scratch podcast. I'm your host, Bel-E.
And I am your co-host, Scratch.
And today, I'm drinking soju.
Soju.
Soju!
Soju?
Soju.
Soju.
And I can't
with
open it.
With a hard J.
Yes.
Not soju.
No.
Like au jus.
No. Not with a Z.
Like a gravy.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if it is with a Z. The Hangul isn't on this package, so I couldn't tell you if it had a Z sound in it.
No, you said ju. Soju.
Soju, yeah.
Soju.
Soju. Korean soju.
Korean soju.
Peach flavored specifically, and I can't get the bottle open.
Too much lotion.
I'm not wearing lotion, I need fabric. I don't have a shirt.
May I?
Yes. Oh.
The crack of victory.
It sounds like a spine.
I guess.
I don't know. You're the only person in the room who would say, oh, yeah, that sounds like a spine. All right.
I wasn't actually there when spines got cracked, per se. Now, I was a part of some procedures.
Sure.
Where things got done.
Yeah.
But orthopedic surgery, or when anyone is dealing with bone, using a saw or a drill or a
You have to be deaf in order to get that job, don't you?
Well,
drink shot.
It helps. It helps.
That's really good. That tastes like peach.
Hammer and chisel. Well, good.
Man, alcoholic peach tastes awesome. Anyway, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, I don't. What do you think? I want to talk about this?
Okay, I'm sorry. Would you like a shot of peach soju? Because here's the thing. If I'm going to drink something exotic, I want to drink something that tastes like peach and sunshine.
Have I tried that one yet?
No, you like the grapefruit.
Okay.
Which, that's fine. I like grapefruit, too.
I'll try a little.
Okay, that's fine. Not an entire shot glass full?
Please.
Okay, no problem.
Soju. Korean soju.
Yep.
Actual
Korean soju. Yeah.
Hey, what a mild bouquet it has.
Yes, quite.
That's pretty good.
I'm glad you like it.
It has that, it's kind of like, it's kind of peach on the outside.
Uh-huh.
But something else on the inside.
Yeah, that's probably the rice.
Yeah.
Because this is a rice-based alcohol, which, here's the thing, I hate sake, but this stuff, I love.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean...
Maybe it's because sake is too harsh and too bitter for me.
I guess.
Because soju, unless you get, something bad, like blueberry soju, I am told is not good. Unless you get it from a specific brand, and for the life of me, I can't remember which one that is.
What kind of berry?
Blueberry. Blueberry soju. The flavors of soju I have seen personally is grapefruit, peach, green grape, specifically green grape, because there is also white grape.
Of course.
Plum, blueberry, some kind of citrus that is not native to this country.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't ask questions. Plain soju, which I am afraid to try.
No.
No.
Well, see, they give you the doctored up stuff.
Yeah.
Draw you in.
Yeah.
You know.
Then there's plain soju, which is no flavor.
It's like
it's basically rubbing alcohol at that point.
I guess.
12% alcohol, 12 proof, wait, how much proof is that? 24 proof, basically?
Yes.
Okay. So 24% alcohol content, I'm getting my math mixed up because that's not what I came.
24 proof.
24 proof.
12%.
12% alcohol content.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I'm drinking because I need it.
It looks organic.
Probably. I don't know. You and I are not super duper concerned about that stuff anyway. To an extent we are, but at the same time it's like
right.
Sometimes getting ripped off doesn't feel good.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, and this is the problem with anything that's labeled say let's take organic for
Yeah.
instance. And also we're also going to pin that to
Yeah.
we're also going to pin that to the EPA.
Oh.
The Environmental Protection Agency, or whatever it's called today. Okay, whoever the environment czar is.
Yeah. Whoever.
We can even extrapolate what's going on with that organic label, basically all the way to carbon footprint and carbon tax.
Oh my God.
And that is simply what you're being sold in organic. When it originally started, it's like we talk about vehicles, and the original model seems to last longer.
Yeah.
And then you get something with all the bells and whistles and the rickety-racket and all that stuff, and that decreases the the longevity of whatever it is you're involved in.
Yes.
Say a vehicle.
Sure.
Okay. So what happened when, and this, this is just, I don't know. It seems to be a very steady repeating pattern of the original
the original model lasts longer.
The original model of organic, obviously, sooner or later had to have a governmental label, a legal label put on it.
Sure.
Okay, but what happened is because of politics, money.
Bleh.
It's
kind of been
those regulations get watered down.
Yeah.
So what was originally organic may or may not be when you get into that gray area.
Yeah.
Then when you go into federal, I don't want an EPA that says, okay, well you can pollute this much, but you have to pay this much of a fine.
Yeah,
I want an environmental protection agency that says you don't pollute.
Ever.
Next.
Yeah.
That's what I want. See, and that's what I don't appreciate of certain these political platforms.
I think part of the problem is the EPA needs to operate more like OSHA.
Okay.
Where OSHA will just come in and fuck your shit up if you are violating safety regulations.
Well, that is true.
So that's what the EPA needs to act like.
Down.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the EPA needs to start acting like.
I'm not saying they don't have that power, but I personally have never experienced it.
Yeah,
or maybe if I read about it, I clearly didn't understand what was going on, because to my
I don't know,
Rolodex in my head, I don't ever remember coming across something like where the EPA went in and shut something down.
I don't know. Maybe it's that whole thing of the same. It's basically the same thing as Big Pharma, where they can make more money from the treatment versus the cure.
Right.
They can make more money off of the fines of these companies, and they can just still do whatever the fuck they want.
That's a good point.
Which, unfortunately, makes me sad in a way that cannot be quelled by.
Well, money's going somewhere.
Yeah, the money's going somewhere.
These entities.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't want to. It isn't always. Oh, the big evil corporation. Okay. All right, that's a very one-dimensional way of looking at things.
Yeah, I mean, you can't rule that out.
No,
but there's more.
That's obviously a part. The biggest percentage, smallest percentage, the most easily defined percentage. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I know it's there.
Yes.
And everybody else does too. I get corporations being involved in this.
Sure.
But it can't be limited to just that. You don't get to pay your way out.
No.
That's my point.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be able to do that anyway.
It goes back to the whole plastic argument. Don't tell me to use less. Stop making it.
Yeah.
I mean, is there another answer? I mean, somebody please tell me. Is there another answer? I'll listen.
How about this? In an era where companies will make their products to be as I don't want to say as flimsy as possible.
Biodegradable?
Yeah, I don't mean biodegradable. I just mean flimsy. It used to be a lifetime warranty. Now it's a 2 to 5 year warranty.
Yeah.
Then after about 6 years, you break your blender and have to go buy a brand new one. Yeah. You see. So.
Well, that's.
So I'm just like, why can't you do the same thing for plastic, where you just break? It's breakable.
That is one of the ugly sides of capitalism, is to make a lesser quality product.
in order to keep you having to keep you spend money.
Yeah, but there is the other side where how fickle we are as human beings.
Sure.
And we have to have a new wardrobe every season.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Or a new car every year.
I can understand.
2 years.
Yeah, I can understand slowly switching your clothes out.
I mean,
but
I get
an entire wardrobe, car, and house every year.
Yeah, I mean, it may be easy for me based on whatever my income has been in the past. And,
Indeed.
And it's been obnoxiously high for someone that makes a living on their feet.
You've been at both ends of the spectrum
I
of
have.
wealth.
But
you get it.
I do find that people get infected with materialism.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly and truly, based on the current influencer culture that's being cultivated, I don't see how you're going to get away from just pure avarice materialism. How
the avarice.
The avarice.
The avarice never ends.
Never ends. I mean,
that is my favorite quote from
because
Grinch.
you know all this anti-bullying. Yes, the conversation needs to take place, obviously, but there's a lot of people that are just in it just to get press or clickbait or whatever. And they're the ones that keep feeding this.
Because it keeps them in business.
Because it keeps them in business. And also, you know, and they don't practice what they preach.
No, because that's not good for business.
Not good for business. Not good for their image.
No. I will admit this. I do think we are in the later stage. We are in the stages of we are basically in the era of late stage capitalism where the system is just spinning on its wheels, basically in this cycle of damn it, I used to remember it. It's the law of diminishing returns, the cycle of diminishing returns.
Oh yeah.
I do believe we are stuck in that. However, I have railed against this before many times, both on here and in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think we need a system reset? Yes. Do I think we need to stop using capitalism? Fuck you!
As opposed to what?
As opposed to what? Communism? Socialism?
Please.
Monarchy? We can't do a monarchy. Not in this era. Not like a true blue solo monarch like King Louis the 14th. Yeah, 14th.
Well, my issue is
can't do that.
I've had people in my life that were legitimate ascetics that gave up materialism. Okay, well that's. And if you don't know what that looks like, it's hard to imagine.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, you know, I love one of the, this person has been canceled. You know, I'm not saying pro-con, but Louis C.K. used to have this thing where he talked about people would complain about capitalism or free market economy or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, just so they could make a mean tweet from their iPhone while taking a
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean,
look, I think Louis C.K.
beautiful opposite.
Yeah, you know, Louis C.K. can be a punk, but there are times when he is absolutely correct.
But that observation,
just because he's out of line doesn't mean he's wrong.
That observation, I thought, was pretty accurate.
Yeah. My whole thing is
and sad.
I'm just actually I'm legitimately curious about this whole thing of where does this romanticized idea of this socialism, communism aspect come from?
Honestly,
like why?
You want to know?
Might as well, or should this be a?
No,
does this
is
need
not
to be
controversial at all.
Are you sure about that?
I am stone cold. It's going to shock you how uncontroversial it'll be.
Can you still hear yourself through the headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, for a second I didn't.
Okay.
Sorry, please go ahead. What? Okay. Tell me.
T-shirts.
What?
T-shirts.
Okay.
Che Guevara. What's Fruit Loop's last name? Che Guevara.
Che Guerrero.
Che Guerrero. Okay. It turned into a badass T-shirt.
It is a badass.
It's a badass T-shirt.
Legitimately, okay. I'll give you props.
Are people that basic and easy to influence? Hell, yes,
they are.
I mean, really?
Yes, really.
We've all sat and watched criminal trials over the past 20 years.
Yes.
Where the defendant was obviously guilty.
Uh-huh.
And what got them off didn't have anything to do with the crime that had taken place.
It had to do with the fact they had a really good lawyer.
They're a really good lawyer, but
and
hey,
props to them, but still.
No, it's public opinion.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts? Public opinion swaying a murder verdict. Really?
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
Stuff like that, I just have to let go because, for better or for worse.
And see, now everybody's got a friggin' voting system in their hand.
Uh-huh.
And we all know that the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Uh-huh. Eventually.
Yeah. So basically, people that don't bitch all the time and have a problem with everything,
uh-huh,
are going to be left out of the equation.
Yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it just makes me upset.
Well,
let me phrase it. It just makes me happy that we are taking steps to at least subvert that from happening to us and our family.
Well,
in a way that we haven't elaborated on because we haven't, we're not in a safe enough position to elaborate on it.
No.
People can probably figure it out if they listen hard enough, but whatever.
Sure.
All right. I am sad and I want to release some catharsicism.
Catharsicism.
Carcinogen.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. All right. From the last time we put out a podcast, sat down and recorded it, and now has got to be, I don't want to say it's been the worst week of my life.
No.
But it's damn near close. I think the worst period, personally, in my life was probably my final fall semester at the community college I went to.
Yep.
Because I was dumb and overconfident. Because I was 19 or something at the time.
Woo!
And I thought I was the smartest bitch in the building. Not really, but I was up there. I thought I was up there. So, my dumb ass waits until, 1 to 2 weeks before the term started. This is no joke.
Yeah.
You're allowed to get mad at me now.
Why do you want to get mad?
I'm just saying, for me being dumb. So,
we all are dumb.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, all college.
You just gotta live through it. That's all.
I did live through it. What had happened was
survived.
I booked the biology class that you have to have at least one lab science at this place.
No.
You got to have a math science. I took probability and statistics. I took 2 master level English classes because I was technically going for an English major that they didn't have, so I just went, okay, I'm going to do the closest thing and go for arts because they're kind of in the same ballpark, and a computer class where they taught me how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, Access, whatever.
Yeah.
That was the worst 4 to possibly 6 months of my life. There were nights where I slept 4 to 6 hours because I was constantly reading. If I wasn't at work or in a classroom, I was reading a textbook.
Yeah.
And I took English and American history, or English, it's the 2 English classes. One was American literature and the other was British literature.
Right.
So, on the one hand, I had to read, a journal from some fucking pilgrim from Plymouth Rock in one class, and in the next class, I had to do some sort of presentation on the Canterbury Tales. And I almost cracked. Because, you saw. But I just kept my head down and I plowed through it. I couldn't drop the classes because I was under a scholarship. Because if I dropped the class, that technically meant I lost money. I could have lost the scholarship, so I just buckled down and pushed through it. And by the end of the term, I was physically shaking because I was expecting an email saying I missed something and I failed.
Yeah, you have to be able to accept less.
Yes.
Like, be a champion, be a champion, be a champion. But then there'll come a time when you got to go down the back end of it. You know, you got to, and allow.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously you're always going in there shooting for A's and B's.
Sure.
But if you got that semester with a couple of C's,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you still passed.
You still passed.
Yeah.
So that's
Soju. Anyway. So that was the worst period of time in my personal life. This past week is this actually?
It's definitely been a week of growth.
No. Okay, let me phrase that. This the entire month of July 2021 has got to be the second worst time of my life. I'm going to count the entire month because this needs the week in question needs context.
You know, I think there's just this big, huge change in everybody's clock.
Yeah, it has to be.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but here's the thing. Let me give you the context for what happened. All right.
Everybody just clinging on for dear life?
I am clinging on for dear life. Yes, I'm going somewhere else, but I'll get to that. All right. Now, I was practically being cooked to death in the warehouse. You know this.
For a hot tamale.
Yes. I love tamales. So, a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, offers me a job, says, be a front desk person at this establishment that I will not name for legal reasons.
Sure.
And I said, cool.
You don't have a problem with the brand.
I don't have a problem with the brand. I have a problem with that building. And not even the business itself, just that building, but I'll get to that. So, I take the job because the pay is slightly less, but, you know, it's right next, it's like a couple minutes down the road.
Sure.
So I save on gas money.
Sure.
It has air conditioning. I get to sit down. I'm not lifting heavy boxes all day. I'm not doing manual labor. You know, I'm on the phone, talking to people, setting up appointments in the computer system. You know, they come in, do their thing, and then they leave and they pay, and you sell them gift cards. You know, basically it's retail, but snooty.
Right.
All right. So, first day I'm there. And you saw this. You saw the look I had when I came home.
Yeah.
I was kind of perturbed. And I was perturbed, but I didn't want to admit it. Because when I went into that building, like for the first time, and I spent some quality time in that environment.
Yeah.
I was very taken aback.
Oh, is this back to the whole feng shui thing?
I don't know what the feng shui is off of the building.
Built on an Indian burial ground.
Built over a hellmouth is what it feels like now. But basically, from day one, I spent a lengthy period of time at this joint. Inside their building, doing the stuff, you know, being trained, you know, and all that.
Right.
So, that's fine, you know. I basically noticed that something is off. The energy is off with the entire building.
As soon as you walk through the door.
Like, as soon as I walk, well, here's the thing. I didn't notice it when I was doing the interview and filling out paperwork. I mean, it was there, but I just brushed it off as me being very nervous. And I was. And I was nervous. Does that make sense?
There's another side to this.
Okay. What's up?
Maybe you weren't supposed to be there
in the first place?
In the first place.
I don't know.
Maybe there is something there.
Maybe there is something there.
But maybe it's internal, maybe it's external. Who knows?
I thought it was internal, but I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so I felt some sort of weird, oppressive energy about the place, if you choose to believe that type of stuff. You know?
Oh, no. I mean, it doesn't have to be.
I don't mean you specifically, I just mean the listener.
No, it doesn't have to be anything metaphysical. I mean, it can be incongruent lines.
Yeah, it's something.
I mean, you know,
like something.
Definitely not Fibonacci.
Yeah, something that puts you at ease. The entire building was this the uncanny valley. Does that make sense? I'm not. Okay, there is this thing.
Maybe by another name.
Okay, there is this thing called the uncanny valley. It basically is where something can be cute and where something can be creepy meet.
Oh yeah.
It's like you see a big stuffy fuzzy
exactly
teddy bear with a set of human teeth. That's uncanny valley, where you know what it is and you're not 100%. You don't think it's cute, but you're not 100% sure why you should be afraid.
There was a movie back in the 80s called Critters.
That
was a very cute little fuzzball creature that had a big Glasgow smile grin on and ate people.
That counts.
But it was cute and repulsive at the same time.
That's uncanny
really
valley.
Really weird.
That is uncanny valley.
Yeah.
That vibe where you
and the first one actually is worth watching.
Oh yeah, it is. I've seen it.
But
basically, the uncanny valley is where you know it's not safe, but you don't know if it's unsafe.
Right.
That entire building radiated this uncanny valley thing where
like it was supposed to be a place that was warm and fuzzy.
It was supposed to be a place of relaxation and, you know, easing your stress away, just getting all the soreness out of your muscles. And yet, when you were there,
the environment or the employees?
Both.
Really?
Both.
That's got to be a drag.
Yes, it was. And I noticed it, but I tried to ignore it. I was like, I'm going to be the good soldier. I'm going to keep marching through this.
Namaste. Now get your fat ass in here on this table. I mean,
no, it wasn't like that. But I'll explain, or I'm in the middle of explaining. So this weird oppressive vibe just would not go away. You know, I would try to talk to other employees, and only one of them I really made a connection with.
They got aromatherapy in there?
Yes.
But they don't burn incense?
No. Essential oils. Yeah, I know. It's still manufactured. I know. No, trust me. If I had the ability, I would frickin' sage that entire building until it was just a haze of smoke, like a Prince concert. Or should I say a Grateful Dead concert? Grateful Dead. Okay, until it was a Grateful Dead concert. That is how hard I would smudge that place. And I have the genetic ability to do so as per our last podcast, but whatever.
I'll hold you down and smoke you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right back to the Florida Glades. Anyway, so I just keep trucking along, and I started noticing things. I started to notice, certain people could I don't want to say control, but they contributed to how oppressive or non-oppressive the atmosphere could be. Like, say, my friend who got the job. She is the manager of the location.
Oh, there's an individual where I work.
Yeah.
That's actually, when that part of her is not turned up to 11.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
But God help everybody when when that beast is out. When that horse is out running across that plain, buddy. Freaking flaring nostrils, sweat pouring off of them.
She doesn't lose her mind, but you can tell when she's there. Is
she the same age? Is she kind of the average age?
She's the same age as me.
So like the rest of the staff?
Yes.
Oh, people don't know how to deal with her.
I don't know what the problem is, because here's the thing. She has to put up this persona of the really, by the book, rigid manager. And I get that. I'm not dismissing her if for some reason she somehow will listen to this. I do not think less of her for doing this.
No.
But the thing is that For some reason, well, I know the reason, but that's none of my business.
Sure.
It's not my business to share. But for some reason, when she's at work, she just puts out this energy where she is just it's this chaotic nervousness.
Yeah.
That just infects everybody. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense.
Like, when she's in the building, it's very tense.
I used to work with this nurse.
When she's not there, it's better.
When we were shoulder-to-shoulder staff nurses, he was one of the coolest dudes in the history of the world.
Uh-huh.
I don't think, you might have met him, but you don't know him.
Who knows?
Per se.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a great nurse. He was he was kind of short and rotund. But he had a gift of gab, buddy, and he would charm people, charm the ladies, charm patients. He could charm people.
Yeah.
Like, give somebody a non-narcotic for pain and talk them into it. He could do it.
He could give people placebos.
He could give people placebos.
Okay.
All right. We all could give placebos, but there were special cases where people were really in serious, hardcore pain, or they were seekers.
Sure.
And we didn't want to contribute to the delinquency of a seeker.
Sure.
Any true blue healthcare provider feels that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd send him in there, and what you have to understand is what we were giving the person would work for their pain.
Sure.
But it wouldn't give them that buzz they were used to getting. So if the buzz doesn't show up, they think it's not working.
But he could go in and fix that.
Go in and take care of that.
Good man.
It was crazy. He could tell them, and we'd be giving people medicine for, say, one of the biggest placebo
saline?
Placebo conditions is migraine headaches.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of medication that you can be given that will take care of that inflammation causing that pain, but it won't give you a buzz. But if you're used to that buzz, you don't think nothing's happening, and it just stresses you.
And therefore it's counterintuitive.
And it's counterintuitive, even though
it's what you need.
If you calm down, I'm not minimizing anybody's. I mean, if that's what you're used to, this isn't going to help. This isn't going to help, because if you've got that established pattern,
yes,
of the steps it takes you to become pain-free.
Sure.
And those steps aren't, you know what I'm saying? Because you're expecting the same repeat. Oh my God, this is so weird. This whole fractal thing that I'm looking at. But anyway.
Hey. I haven't watched the video. You chill. Next podcast. I gotta write that down.
He could go in and tweet. He could go in and
talk them into
it.
Fractals.
And would leave them without pain.
Yeah.
Success.
Yes.
Okay.
So what was the problem?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, he had this ability to do that.
Oh.
It was really neat how he could turn it on and turn it off. But when he became a boss, he turned into somebody else. I think his way, this is what I think. I think people that are, they're great people.
Yeah.
And they're great workers.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they get in charge.
And then you just can't function.
And then it's like, what? Who
are you?
Who are you? And I think their foundational understanding, their original definition on how to manage people is dysfunctional.
Yes.
It isn't that they aren't a good worker. It isn't they aren't a good person, because they've already proven that at a lower level.
Yes.
And in a certain kind of interaction. But when they become responsible, they get in that position of power.
Then they
they've already been imprinted with a dysfunctional way of doing it.
I don't.
Previous boss or some kind of
actually that I might actually bring that up later, because all right, this is so basically for 2 solid weeks I'm getting training to do my job.
Right.
And I think I'm doing okay. I'm not being directly trained by my friend who, she's busy being the boss.
Yeah.
I get that. But, and then comes the second worst week of my life. This entire week prior to this recording has just been full of ups and downs and all arounds.
Yeah.
It started off fine, going to work on Monday, no biggie. Then the Tuesday that broke me. I will call it the Tuesday that broke me. I will claim that. Because up until then, I was like, you know, this job is pretty okay. I'm using it to transition to another job. And I did tell my friend that. You know,
Right.
There was like no surprise. I told her like, I'm in this warehouse job until I can get an opening at my quote unquote dream job. And then she basically offered me help because she needed help.
Right.
You know, she said that they had AC and they had chairs. And I was like, you know what? Might as well. So there was no surprise.
Is it the flow, or is it the number of things you have to do, or
It is
dealing
the
with
front desk.
public, or-
The front desk aspect definite. Unless you've been there long enough to where you can do this backwards and
Right,
forwards
Right.
and side to side,
Right.
it is a 2-person job.
Oh.
As a general rule, even if you're experienced, it helps to have a second person. You know, it's one of those types of
I
jobs.
know exactly what you're talking about.
So the Tuesday that broke me, it is kind of difficult to talk about because on the one hand, I want to be mad at my friend because she's the one that made the schedule. So she is the one that knowingly put me in an 8-hour shift as it's my 3rd week, haven't been fully trained, and I'm alone for a closing shift for 8 hours.
Mm.
Now, here's the thing.
It was a Monday?
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. The Tuesday that broke me.
Tuesdays are bad.
Tuesdays are bad.
Even in ER circles, Tuesdays are bad.
Uh-huh.
Because you do something on Saturday and you should have come in then,
Uh-huh.
and then you wait 3 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the same, kind of similar environment, similar vibe. So, on the one hand, I want to be angry at her. And I do. Like, if there comes a day where we talk about it in the far future, I'm hoping it's in the far future, where we get on the subject and she tries to just try to use it against me in some way, even as a joke, you know?
Yeah.
I will unload on her because when she hired me, she said it was a sink or swim environment, and I worked in those environments. In this work, sink or swim apparently meant pushing you out of the boat entirely.
You're already in the water. They just put their foot on your head
Exactly.
and push you under.
Yes, or push you under.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the Tuesday.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There is a difference.
There's a big difference.
There's a big fucking difference.
You basically, sink or swim means that you have a possibility
of swimming, or at the very least,
exiting the danger situation.
Yeah.
You're drowning in a riptide.
Yeah.
You figure it out, and you go horizontal with the beach until you get out of the riptide. Then you swim toward the shore.
Yeah, so basically sink or swim.
That's swim.
Yeah, that is swim.
You don't even get a chance to swim.
Yeah, this was a sink or sink.
Sink or sink. That's it. That's it. That's the new work dynamic. Yeah. Sink or sink.
Yeah, it's either
as a registered nurse.
Yes. Does that make sense?
It is my legacy.
Oh.
Sink or sink. Good grief. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those jobs where, and I hope to God it is not every single branch of this establishment. I hope it is not. I pray it is not.
I have a hard time thinking that, well, you know, you always hear about, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
You always hear about these franchise type businesses.
It is a franchise.
Exactly. That spread and spread and spread. And then all of a sudden they had this huge year or a couple of years of growth. And then bang, that bubble just pops.
It just pops.
And then 5 years later, there's only 3 locations left.
And then you wonder what the hell happened.
Then you wonder what the hell happened.
Yeah.
See, that's something you got to give to Mickey D's there. You know, they operate the same way in every location. You don't get to freelance anything.
No, you don't.
Okay. And basically what is happening is
they change the recipe.
They're changing the recipe.
Yes.
Okay. They're expanding and changing the recipe. And the guy or gal,
whoever,
entity that owns the location where you are doesn't understand how important the recipe is.
And they fucked with it.
They screwed with it, yeah.
Yes, clearly. Because
I remember when I used to be a cook, I worked in a restaurant where we made everything from scratch. It all came out of a cooler. Okay, and then we transitioned to things coming out of boxes and bags and a stock room. And I got in and I was still making stuff the old way. And the owner came and jumped me one morning. And I told him, I said, I'll tell you something. The people that come here and pay this kind of, because it was a little bit expensive for that type of fare.
Yeah, but it was scratch-made food.
But it was scratch-made good food. You got good food for good money. And nobody has a problem with that, regardless of what kind of food it is.
Exactly.
And I told him, I said, you change into all this stuff coming out of bags and boxes and stuff like that. I said, you're going to lose this restaurant. He had one here and he had one in town down the road and lost both of them.
Yeah.
And that franchise boomed for a couple of years. And now there's only like 3. There's 3 locations. One I know.
One I think
max 3.
The last I heard it was in Georgia. I could probably ask.
I think
I could ask someone.
The original one is in Florida.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
But anyway, no, I get it. But basically, oh my god,
So the
Tuesday that broke me.
Sink or sink.
Sink or sink.
Sink or sink.
The Tuesday that broke me. That is when whatever energetic shift, whatever uncanny valley issue, everything. You know, if you believe in astrology, if you believe in the convergence of the fates, if you believe in metaphysical stuff or scientific stuff, I don't know what you believe in. All I can say is every single thing that I was not trained for to handle all happened on that Tuesday, and my only lifeline was my friend manager, who was at minimum an hour away. And I had to call her repeatedly.
Yeah.
Like on my personal phone, because the normal office phones were ringing off of the hook. Because I couldn't keep up.
Right.
They sent a rookie, me, to an 8-hour shift, an 8-hour closing shift, and every conceivable bass-ackwards moron or self-entitled Karen walked through the door.
Yeah.
And, of course, the big kicker, the nail in the coffin that made me just lose my mind. I should have walked out of that door. I should have left that building entirely, but I didn't. Be it for, how stern I am, hard work ethic, or not knowing when to fucking quit when I should. The guy on the phone, long story short, because again, I don't want to give away what branch this is, because I have respect for the people in the back of the house.
Yeah.
I do, genuinely so.
The guy on the phone.
Yeah, the guy on the phone. I was trying to explain to him an issue that he was having, or his wife was having, or whatever. I was trying to get in contact with her, and I was trying to help him fix the problem. He was not having it. He was getting belligerent, and he started cussing me. Yeah. Now, in my previous retail job, the way we deal with people cussing at you is you hang up. You say thank you, and you just hang up.
Yep.
And that's it. no interaction. You do not reward such behavior.
No, you don't.
You know. And that sumbitch called back 13 times in the next hour. I didn't pick up the phone because we have caller ID, and I had people rotating in and out like that, like clockwork. So that was what did it in. It wasn't the fact that I was alone. I mean, yes, it was. It wasn't the fact that I was there for 8 hours. Yes, it was. It was the fact that this guy did not leave me alone for the next hour and a half. Leaving messages, voicemails. He did not stop. At all.
At all.
That was the first time in a long time I felt justified anger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I felt angry and mad before, but they were usually over stuff like, you know, I didn't get my way, or something is going wrong and I can't fix it. This was a justified anger where it could have been anybody. It didn't have to be me. It could have been anybody.
Right.
And you would feel the weight of it. I was shaking and just almost foaming at the mouth. I felt like I was about to pass out.
Well, you definitely never had to deal with anything like that before.
No. I agree. I never had to deal with anything like that before. And so I didn't show any of this to the public because I am professional. I tried to be. But that was the first time in a long time I was angry, but for a good reason.
Everybody needs a pop every now and then.
Yeah, that popped me.
Everybody, I don't know, I'm talking about this person that was calling, leaving all these ugly messages.
Oh, and you know what the best part is?
Get bang upside the head.
You know what the best part is?
That saves people's lives, I'm telling you.
Oh, I know. You know what the best part is?
What's that?
I know his name. I have his phone number. I have his home address. If I wanted, I could burn his house to the ground.
I don't know if that's good.
For legal reasons, that was a joke. I'm just saying, if you're going to threaten somebody, make sure they don't know who you are.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Because here's the thing. I have standards, and because I was raised right, I am not going to go and mercilessly murder this person.
No.
For legal reasons, this is a joke. But you catch the wrong person on the wrong day.
Oh, you're going to get it sooner or later.
Yes. They're going to find the wrong person on the wrong day.
They're going to blow up on a ditch digger and get their ass whooped. I'm telling you, it happens. It does. It does.
It does. Don't be a dick. Just don't do it.
You can do it if you want to, man, but you're
going to find somebody.
Somebody's going to...
And then they're going to find you.
Yeah. You're going to get roughed up. That mouth's going to get you in trouble sooner or later.
Yeah, it will.
I used to work with a nurse. She was a great nurse.
Yeah.
And she was a sweetheart. But when she would talk to people...
Ooh.
She would talk to them like it was obviously...
She was like condescending to them and all that?
She was very kind of parental tone. You do what I say.
Or you gonna get it.
And I used to tell her, I was like, honey, you need to soften that just a little bit.
Yeah.
You're
gonna catch somebody.
You're gonna catch somebody on the wrong day.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
She was a very small person. I mean, she had the heart of a lion, but she just needed to soften how she spoke to people.
Sure,
just a little.
No, I get it. I've had to do that before. I remember
one night walking past where we had these rooms that were specifically for psych patients.
Oh.
And she was triaging, which means she was assessing somebody. She was getting them in so they could be seen by the doctor. And I don't know exactly what transpired, but when I walked past the door, she is looking up at this big old chick that's about 3 or 4 times her size. Got her finger up in her face. I mean, like up in her face where her hands
vertical.
Like her hand, you can see her hand is above her head. She was a small person. She was a great nurse. She was a great nurse.
What happened?
Man.
Did this gorilla...
So when I walked back past out of the corner of my other eye, I saw her laying on the floor and the patient standing over her. So I had to run in there and involve myself.
Of course.
And
yeah,
then
just
helped,
don't do it.
And help the nurse, my coworker, up out of the floor and help her stagger out into the hall and put her in a chair.
Yeah, don't do that, people.
Yeah, you better watch how you talk to people. You're gonna get it sooner or later.
Yeah. So, but here,
or you end up by yourself when you die.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So just chill.
Nobody can stand you.
Nope. So, but here was the kicker.
Yeah.
Yes, that dude was technically the nail in the coffin. But here's what got my goat. I was angry.
Yeah.
I was angry in a way that I haven't been in years.
Well, you didn't have any kind of comfort zone.
No.
None.
There was no escape.
You were completely naked out in the open.
Yeah.
No cover.
Yes.
No way to defend yourself.
No. Nothing. I wasn't mad because it happened. I was mad because I was made to do it. Someone dropped me into that environment. Now, if I put myself in that environment, then that's on me.
4 hours, maybe.
4 hours, maybe.
And then build up to 8.
And then build up to 8. But third week, 8 hours by yourself? Shh.
That's tough.
I ain't doing it again.
It ain't a matter of, I think you can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what got me is when I told my friend boss.
Yeah.
And this is what I don't know if I've stated on the podcast, and I thought it was a bad idea. But here's the thing: I was desperate to get out of that warehouse job because I was not happy with it. This job, here's the thing: in all the jobs I've had.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I stopped liking them, obviously. They never brought me to the point of despair. So, my friend, who I love very, very much, because she is awesome,
Wait a minute. This isn't you're my best friend.
No.
You're my best friend. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I have one of those.
That would be tough.
Yes.
That is tough.
Yeah, that is
I went
tough.
through that, yes.
Yeah. This isn't that friend.
Okay. All right.
Because the person I would do that to, they know better.
Yeah.
So, or the two people I would do that to, they know better. So here's the thing. I now understand why you don't hire your friends and or family.
Yeah.
Because at some point, the business has to come first.
Right.
And you are going to misread when you need to be a boss, or when you need to act and talk like a boss, versus when you need to act and talk like a family member or a friend.
Yeah.
In that moment, in my darkest hour, I was practically living that Megadeth song in my darkest hour. Because that literally happened to me. I was wanting a friend.
Right.
I needed her to tell me that this was not normal, that she was sorry that this had happened.
Yeah.
She had no idea. She eventually said she had no idea. I wasn't trained properly. I wanted her to say, I'm sorry I put you through this, or I'm sorry this happened to you. You know? I wanted an apology.
Right.
You know? Something.
Right.
Something genuine, obviously. It can be short, it can be long. But I needed comfort. And what does she do?
What did she do, by the way?
She essentially, in corporate speak, over a personal text message, when I was telling her I was shaking and red and almost to the point of tears and lashing out and breaking furniture, which should have been clue number one of, maybe I need to de-escalate the situation, but with a phone call and be like, oh my god, it's okay. You know, trying to talk to me like a person.
Right.
She basically turns on manager mode and using corporate speak on a personal text message tells me to shut the fuck up and do my job.
Suck it up, buttercup.
Yes.
That's what you got told.
Yes. That is why yesterday I turned in my notice.
Yeah, it isn't, because you understand, That's why I'm working to get out of where I work.
Yes.
I have a manager. That's her. She's probably got it tattooed on her ass somewhere. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, the darkest part of her white ass.
Yeah. Suck it up, Buttercup. If I've heard it once, I've heard it 50 times. 100 times.
Yep.
You better be careful about doing that.
Yes, you should.
I can tell you from personal experience, if you think you're going to get out from under putting good, hard-working people in situations like that, you think you're going to get out of it, you better think again.
Yeah, you better think again. Do not feed your employees to the wolves and expect positive results. What you don't realize is by the time you get to that point of viewing the world that way, you've already got one foot in the ground. Exactly.
Already. Yeah, it's not a path that you're going to eventually end up at. You're already there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay.
So
you're basically taking advantage of, and I see it in my profession. I've seen it a lot, and it's an evil thing. And I hate to see people in the profession do it to people.
Yes.
In the profession.
Of course.
That drives me off my nut.
I get it.
And but these people are going to what basically is going to happen sooner or later. This will happen. Okay, this person is going to find themselves in when you have that type of attitude where you are drowning people, you sooner or later are going to be underwater.
Yeah, because you'll run out of people to drown.
Yeah, you will trade up until you are completely under. And you won't do nothing but dog pedal the rest. And you might get out of it, you might not.
But you're going to go there eventually.
And the other thing is you're eventually going to die alone. That's a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. Her.
Better watch out.
Yeah, I know.
I used to have this saying, and I got it from another guy. And it was, when it's too tough for you, just right for me. All right.
Okay, Jeb.
Yeah.
Go ahead, suffer alone.
I did that for a while. And it will come back and bite you in the ass.
Yes.
You better be very careful about things that you put out into the universe when it comes to these types of dynamics.
Yeah, this is why I say...
You were more than willing to work hard for her.
I was.
And dedicate yourself to her success.
I was. Legitimately so. I wasn't going to coast off of her. I wasn't going to be like the slacker in her office. We're just shooting the shit.
You're like grateful that you got this way out and you want to help her look as good as she can to her higher-ups.
I was her cheerleader.
Yeah. And that's what...
I legitimately was like, I am
really
going.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's what people do to each other. It's a shame. It happens in relationships. And that's why it helps to have common ground. But
it's stuff like that where I want to vow revenge, but I have to let that go.
You gotta let it go.
Because on the one hand, anything I come up with in terms of revenge, in terms of the long term, I might do something like, ruin this one aspect of her life, and that's it, like one aspect. But something like that, what she's doing to herself, it will haunt her for the rest of her days.
It's redundancy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're trying to, if you take an active role in the downfall of another.
Yeah. It's redundancy.
It's redundancy.
Because they're going to do it to themselves.
They're going to do it to themselves.
Yeah.
And it'll be worse than anything you could think of.
Exactly.
You will actually pity them one day.
And that is actually what I'm hoping for. Her and I are still friends. I will never work for her for as long as I live.
Never.
But that is what I pray. I don't pray for her to fall. I pray for myself to move on, have the strength to move on, and have the ability to pity her one day.
No.
I do care for her as an individual. She is a good person, but...
I had a boss like that about 10 years ago, and she was a stone cold. she was such a hardcore alcoholic. I can't even fit it into my head. And she was my age, and it had affected her features in a way where she looked like something out of a wax museum. It was horrendous. She was involved in some underhand, in my opinion.
Some underhanded dealings?
Yeah. And I can't even imagine. And once I realized, that's the style you run things. Man, I see why you wear this world on your face the way you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that.
But.
Yeah, that job.
Time of transition.
Yeah, I know. I just.
And what I was alluding to earlier is that there's a very strong possibility that if you had taken.
If I had just gone straight to the dream job.
If you had taken it. And I understand how overwhelming.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm having difficulty dealing with right now. I'm trying to establish a different, my pattern in my life has accomplished much, I think.
Sure.
And I'll put my resume up against anybody, my life resume up against anybody, but there is another level that I'm trying to get to, but I keep finding that is the patterns that I have, the negative patterns that I have established at this level that's keeping me from the next level.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand that.
And try to break those patterns.
And trying to break those patterns. So instead of pointing fingers, I think I definitely have put myself into some negative situations. So take a look at, and this is just not. It's not that I saw any clue and that I'm just honing in on it. This is just an idea for consideration.
Sure.
Just wonder. You're ultimately making the jump now. Anyway.
Yes.
Maybe you were meant to do that a month ago.
I don't know.
Maybe it took this kind of scenario to really cement it in place.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing.
It doesn't feel real until you're like, oh my God, I'm doing that.
Yes.
That kind of
thing. And that's what it took for me to actually call up the dream job people and be like, I didn't say get me the fuck out of here. But get me the fuck out of here. No, inside of a week, oh my God. After that Tuesday, inside of a week, I spontaneously developed anxiety and a lack of appetite.
There is a power to settling your mind to something.
Oof.
There's a lot of people that think that there's a negative connotation to settling. Oh,
not
are
necessarily.
You settling for that?
Yeah, not necessarily.
That's somebody else's opinion.
Sure.
But if you settle your mind to it, it's like a focus goal. And it's like an NFL player. Just football.
Yes.
Football. They're totally focused on it. So now you're totally focused on
this dream job, which I will elaborate soon. Yes.
And there's going to be some, one of the things I do enjoy is a bit of control.
Yes.
And that might be part of what's going on with you where you are. It's completely out of control.
No, here's the thing.
It's out of control.
Here's the thing. I expected it to be out of control, but I expected to take the role of, that is not my problem. That is the manager's problem. But what do I do when the manager isn't there?
Right.
Now it's my problem, and I have no way to fix it. And as a completionist and task-oriented, that sucks.
Yeah. Well,
no, this job
you're supposed to answer the phone every time it rings, and you run for the phone every time it rings. I can tell you I'm in a job, and I know you're in a front desk job, and it's kind of a little bit different, but this is kind of the way you got to look at it. The phone gets answered when I get to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got people in front of you.
Clearly.
Coming and going.
Yeah.
And unless you're given a directive by management, which obviously they didn't.
No.
some management styles prefer you to spend more time on the phone than with the customer in front of you. And then there are management styles that say to spend more time with the customer in front of you than on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was not given a
Better
prime
worse,
directive.
I'm not saying exactly. You were not given a prime directive. All right, on how to deal with that.
But here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I am legitimately thankful for the Tuesday that broke me.
Yeah.
Not because it spontaneously gave me anxiety and a lack of appetite.
No.
Because, obviously I'm not thankful for that. But here's the thing. When I go to the gym and I train,
right.
In the past, I would get either tired or overwhelmed by the pain in one particular area that I was exercising. The past couple of times after that Tuesday, when I've gone to the gym, and I'm like in the middle of a set, and I get to the point where the pain is too much, or I'm getting winded and I need to catch my breath,
right.
I close my eyes and I just remember hearing that dickhead's voice over the phone.
Buddy, I'm telling you something.
And reading my friend boss's response to me being in distress.
It may sound like negative reinforcement, but there is a place for...
There is a place for it.
I wouldn't call it hate.
No.
I don't hate anything.
No. I don't hate it.
But there is something leaning in that direction that can really drive you in a workout.
Yes.
I am definitely evidence of that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the past couple times I've been in the gym working out, I would just imagine that dude's voice over the phone or reading my friend boss's text response, and I would just be like, I don't want to be gentle. I want muscles. I want to go to war. I'm a man. I want a lightsaber. War.
Yeah.
Oh, that Tuesday, it completely changed my mind because I'm just like, I was fed up. I was like, no more.
And there hadn't been a day like that while you were training?
No. Not a one.
Experienced anything like that?
No. Not a one.
Sounds like a convergence.
Yes, it is. It's a convergence of me getting the fuck out of there.
Yeah. You just needed one more... You just needed one more pitch to take a swing at.
Yes.
So you would figure out what you're definitely supposed to do.
Yeah.
You don't question it now, do you?
No, I don't.
Well, good. Now you can concentrate on it. Like Yoda said, have your mind on what you are doing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, my God. I'm still not over it, though. I'm still not 100% over it.
Over it, you are not.
Because I'm at the point where I'm going to do everything feasibly possible to not show up to shift. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I am done. I am like 3,000% done.
Yeah.
I will fake sick. I will say my car's not working. I can't come. I will say whatever I have to. Because I already turned my notice in.
No, I
don't care about the shortened paycheck. I barely have a paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got
I don't give a fuck. They won't give me my final paycheck until I turn in the shirts and the name tag. Okay, I'll just drop all that off like in the last 5 minutes of the day.
So do they, do you have any more 8-hour shifts where you're alone?
Yes.
Do your best.
I'll do my best to play hooky because no. My time is now more valuable than that.
I understand that. I wished I had a better grasp of that.
Like, I'm at the point where I don't care if this destroys my friendship with her because that is not how you treat people.
Yeah. That does sound kind of odd.
Yeah.
If a friend puts you in a situation like that to begin with, that's what you eventually got to ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what drove me wild was because eventually when she and I got to meeting, I was freaking broken at that point. I was just, hunched over. to the point of tears. I am overthinking everything from my familial relationships to my friends for relationships to, personal relationships. I was thinking, I legitimately thought the world was against me. And I looked up the symptoms for panic attacks, and I never had a panic attack, but I could feel one in the back of my head. And here's the other thing I noticed.
Yeah.
What I mean by the energy is off in the building is after that day, during the shifts, I started asking people questions.
Right.
About how they felt. And I got some pretty strange answers. It didn't matter where people were inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
They could have been at the front desk or the back of the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I asked them, hey, how you doing? You feeling okay, man? With all this going on with your job? And almost across the board, it was accounts of people having headaches, like constant headaches.
Right.
People would be, their bodies would ache in a certain way that wasn't normal for them. Say if they were in the back of the house and had the physical jobs.
Right.
And then they would feel anxious, like their legs would bounce, their stomachs were upset and felt turned over. They felt like some of them even had, they felt like they had a vice on their chest.
Really?
Like I did. Some people were tired. Some people were confused.
They weren't scared of you, were they?
No, they weren't. These people don't know me.
Right.
But some were confused. Some were tired.
Interesting.
Some people's hands had swollen certain ways that was not normal for them.
Did anybody try to hide this from you?
No.
During the conversation?
No. They were open and honest about it.
They just offer it right up.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And when I asked them, questions, they readily gave me answers. They weren't like, "Why are you asking me?" I was like, yeah, I've always been. It was something like, yeah, I've had issues like that when I would get sick. About feels like hot or cold water running down your back, spines tingling, and
I know what
vice on your chest. And then they would be like, yeah, the vice on, feel like there's a pressure on my chest. It has to be.
Has to be.
It has to be.
Yeah. People that give care.
Yes.
It's like shepherded sheep.
Yes.
When you shepherd sheep, and as a manager, you shepherd sheep.
Yes, you do.
When they come to you for help, you don't kick them in the head.
No, you don't.
And if that's your management style, you create an environment like that. So there you go. Your friend may be a great person. Who knows?
She is, but
can't manage. And there's a lot of people out there.
They just can't manage.
No, I got a ball. I had my future ex-boss like that. She talks to people and deals with people. She was the sucking up buttercup person.
Yeah.
Like their 1978, youth league team in Alabama. There was a time when that dynamic worked.
Sure.
It doesn't work today.
No, it doesn't work today.
I didn't make things different.
No.
But I know that doesn't work today.
Honestly, what I'm surprised at the actual most, is because of this whole thing of, the job crisis, no one wants to work. You would think at some point, people in manager positions would go, hey, maybe I should change how I talk and act towards people so they don't just leave.
Right.
Some don't.
You have to get to, and it's a level of maturity.
Yes.
And that's why there's some people that'll take longer to get there, and some people will never get it.
Never get there.
Never get it, because it's a level of maturity where you understand that maybe 50% of this is my fault. At least entertain it.
Yes.
You can't consistently have problems over and over. How long has this person been in this job? This manager? Ever since you've known her?
If I tell you
2 years, 3 years.
No, hang on. If I tell you how quickly she rose to manager, you would probably. I'm just going to tell you. Okay. She rose from my position as at the front desk to manager in less than 6 months. And she's been doing that ever since I've known her.
And that can be done, but like I said, I mean, if you don't, it's nurture. If you don't have a positive, everybody needs a positive role model.
Yes.
Okay, and just because someone, say, and management is definitely full of this. There are people that are in management and can't manage people if somebody held a gun on them.
Nope.
And then there are people that can manage, and if your frame of reference, like saying the example in front of her of managing, is a negative way of managing, I know that's got to be the issue with my boss. And she's one of those people that, from her attitude, she's locked into, hey, this is the way I was raised, and that's just the way it is, blah, 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 blah. You can change that.
You can change that, Barbara, or whatever the fuck her name is.
It's just like, I didn't have a very, it goes with me and my father didn't have a very positive relationship. Me and none of my friends, none of my guy friends had a positive relationship with their dad.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking to myself, this can't be 100%.
No.
It can't be. So I set my goal when I became a parent was to have something different.
Yes.
I just had to have something. I could, and I did.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't. But I had to allow myself to entertain the idea that maybe something going on in front of me
might also be your fault too.
Might be my fault, but it might be. I needed to be open to the idea of maybe I need to do something different.
Yes. Soju's kicking in, finally.
Is this person a parent?
Nope.
Oh, well, that's got a lot to do with it.
Yes. There. Yes, it does.
Can't manage. You have to. Kids teach you how to manage people.
Yes.
They just do.
Yeah, okay. I believe it. Shut up, Barbara.
They'll give you patience.
Yes. Because you have to have patience.
Because you have to have patience, or you end up with your mug shot in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And that's true with anything. They want to demonize having kids. They want to demonize being married. Whatever.
Sure. Whatever. I don't care.
Those are just things that you have to go through a certain point. You have to mature.
Yes.
And there are some things you have to get to a point where, you just want a solution. That means that if you got to change something, you got to change something. And it might be something that you think is completely fundamental with how you are, how you're structured. Don't give up your honor.
No.
Without a fight. And but other than that, be open to other possibilities. Okay.
Exactly.
When it comes to dealing with people.
Yes.
I had to get to a point where I was like a super perfectionist, and I tried to do everything for everybody. And then I had to get to a point where I had to learn what other people brought to the table.
Yes.
And I would be in these situations where, say for instance, I'm giving a patient discharge instructions. They come to the ER. They've been examined. They've been discharged. We're not telling them what they want to hear, or we're not giving a prescription for a particular medicine they want, and they're very upset by it. And they're refusing to leave. And I worked with a young lady who was as beautiful and evil as the day is long. God bless her. And she had a way of flipping. She was beautiful to look at.
Yes.
But she had this ability to just enchant people with it, and she did it on purpose. She did it for meanness. So she knows who she is. I love her to death, and she was brilliant mentally, intellectually. She was brilliant, and she had a tremendous. She had a gift for getting rid of people who we wanted to get rid of. Because she would just enchant them, and they'd be out in the parking lot before they knew it.
Hey, sometimes you need those people.
Yeah, and so, here's me, the hammer.
Yes.
I can be a diplomat. I can. I've talked people up and I've talked them down, but then there's people that punch my buttons, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm going to go get Cheryl.
I'm going to feed you to the worms out in the yard.
Yep.
I personally am dragging you out and throwing you out in the yard.
That's me.
When I didn't want that, I would go to her and I would say, hey, can you get rid of that? Can you discharge that gentleman over there? He's not very motivated to leave. And she took it as a challenge.
Good.
And she was fantastic at it.
Good.
Nobody started swinging.
No.
We have to call the cops.
I'm not that person,
that's what I'm saying.
but I appreciate those people.
As a manager, you have to manage. You know.
I don't know.
And then there's these managers that think just because they took a beating to learn the job,
they think everybody needs to take a beating.
They think everybody needs to take a beating, and that's not true at all.
That is not true at all.
It's not true at all.
No. For God's sake.
You can't do it now. My generation can get away with it.
Sure.
My mother's generation can get away with it.
Not my generation.
Not your generation.
No.
And I'm not saying pro or con. Okay, honestly,
the standard is just different.
This has been some enlightening thought processes working for me because basically it's just got to a point where employer, and this is definitely one of those. We cover a lot of positive aspects about capitalism.
Yes.
This is one of the more negative aspects of capitalism, but honestly and truly, this is any kind of business, whether it's socialism or communism. Business is business, and people are management. But there's this thing of abusing workers and not want to give them. If you don't
not give them their due.
Could you do your job for $10 more an hour?
Sure, maybe, probably.
You can pay
this current
somebody.
job?
Yeah.
No.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can pay somebody for that's what I used to tell when I was on the road and I made a ton of money. You can pay me for my inconvenience. And I was put into a bunch of dysfunctional situations. But I was motivated by that. I'm a professional. I can do my job very well. I've done it for free. But
yes,
I want top dollar, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they paid me for my inconvenience.
I am not being paid for the inconvenience.
So, that's abuse.
Yes.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's abuse.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to throw around the word traumatized, but I'm feeling pretty traumatized.
Well,
here's the thing. I don't shirk from work.
No.
Not as a rule.
No.
But at this moment, I am like halfway through a bottle of soju. I am terrified at the prospect of going back to this job. I am in a tipsy haze, but I am still anxious and clenched up at the thought of going back to this place. Just talking about this past Tuesday. Yes, I'm grateful that it happened.
Did it get better?
No!
Wednesday?
No. It didn't get better.
I just wonder why you didn't see any of this when you were training.
I don't either.
Because there were just two people there to do the job?
There was two people there to do the job. And even when there was two people there to do the job, me and another person, it just wouldn't go away. The feeling of fear and abandonment and stress and oppression, it never went away after that Tuesday. 'Cause I just went, it has to get better. It can't just be like this. Oh, yes, it can. I even had a meeting with my friend boss where I explained to her the situation that unfolded Tuesday.
Yeah.
And she told me the correct procedure to handle someone when they're cussing at you over the phone.
Okay.
It is apparently not to immediately say thank you and hang up.
Yeah.
It is basically to say, I'm sorry, this situation is upsetting you, but there is no need for profanity. Let's work together through this to make it work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and of course at the time, me being broken and small, I just nod my head and I just went, oh God, okay. I feel so bad about everything. I didn't mean to lash out. But on the inside, I was like, go fuck yourself, woman.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I went through that.
Genuinely.
I used to work in a call center and spent 8, 10, 12 hours a day talking on the phone.
Yeah.
And I dealt with somebody like that.
Yeah.
And I just hung up on them.
Yeah.
And my boss was like, you're not supposed to hang up on somebody.
Like, no, I'm not.
I'm not going to be cussed like that.
No.
I don't care what kind of condition
I don't
this
care
person
what kind
has.
I don't give a fuck.
Don't talk to me like that on the phone.
Yeah. No. This.
Filed a complaint. Well,
No. I don't care.
Complaint. I don't care.
Yeah, I will not be cussed
I
at.
will not listen to that.
Yeah.
And see, that's abuse.
That is abuse.
That's abuse.
Oh my God.
As a nurse for years, I mean, management is just like, nurses get beat up and, we ain't supposed to call the cops. Well, on this side of the country, on the East Coast. But smack a nurse on the West Coast, you are going to be talking to the cops.
Yes, you will.
Okay.
Yes.
That's their policy out there.
Yeah.
But here I don't know what it is now, but when I worked,
yeah,
it was like, well, we really don't want it like that. No, dude.
No, call the cops.
Call the cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get them out of here.
That's one thing I loved about being on the road with that type of attitude, because I'd run into those situations, everybody's like hemming and hawing. I'm like, nope.
Bye.
Call the cops. Get them here.
Yep.
I'd meet them coming in. Hey, this dude over here, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
For God's sakes, I just...
So, whatever. I just don't, and what's happening now is, because there's, especially if you have that, well, for one thing, it's beating the strong work ethic out of people. Yeah. And, but right now, if you have a strong work ethic, you can cash in on it. Sure. That's it.
I know.
I know the arguments going around, because I grew up in the 70s when welfare hit.
Yes.
And I've seen that type of housing and communities based on, the government sending people a check.
Yep.
No, technically, they're not hitting a time clock to receive that amount of money.
Sure.
But you don't want it.
No, you don't.
It's a prison.
Yes.
It's a prison, because you won't do anything. I remember having friends.
Sure.
That they find themselves in a job that they liked, that they might have a future in.
Sure.
But they started to make too much money, so they quit so they could stay on the government check.
Oh.
And to me, that's just bondage.
It is.
Because that person they literally could have doubled, tripled, maybe quadrupled their lifestyle if they'd have stayed in this job. And yet.
No.
Because they had this secure thing established where they'd get a check every month.
I'm not saying it's unnecessary.
I'm not saying it's unnecessary.
But it's exploitable.
I'm just saying that's.
Yes, it can be.
I saw that happen, and it kind of made me question how productive that sort of thing is.
Exactly.
So, yeah, people have a lot of so anybody, and I know I'm working with somebody who's, I wish I'd get fired. I'd make more money on unemployment. Excuse me. You don't want it.
No, you don't.
You don't want that lifestyle. You don't want to be stuck in that and hand it down to your kids and your grandkids and all that other stuff. You don't want it because it's bondage. So
freaking fracking.
Yeah, but I think you're headed to something that
it can't be worse.
No matter how much money you make, it can't be worse.
It cannot be worse
because you have total control.
I do, and I have the ability to ask for help.
Yeah.
I can send a phone call. I can send a text or a phone call to the other people that work there too and be like, hey, what do you recommend for this situation? And I would get an answer back.
Right.
Someone will answer me back, Yeah,
don't tell me to do something. Why do you think I'm on the phone with you right now anyway? I need you to tell me what I need to do.
Yes.
Because I don't know what to do with this.
Exactly.
And you're my boss. You're the experienced person here.
So tell me what to do.
Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Just tell me what the rules are.
Yes.
I cannot believe the number of managers that do that. You need specifics.
Yes.
This happens, then you do this. That happens, then you do that. Okay. That whole figure it out.
Yeah.
You figure it out. You're the boss. You're the effing manager. It's your job. Okay. Don't tell me what because here's the thing, there's no right way or there's no wrong way. So somebody, so you're always going to come down on the wrong thing. You tell me specifically what I'm supposed to do, buddy, I'll grab them around the ears and do it. Okay. But you're going to leave me hanging? You won't give me any direction? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's irresponsible. That's weak.
Uh-huh.
It's just weak.
Yeah, hang on. For some reason I just decided, hey, maybe it's a good idea to look this place up on one of the apps I was made to download. Which I don't mind. I had storage space. It's the best way to see my schedule.
Oh, well, anyway.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What is that?
That is 1:30, and
Oh well.
Ooh.
So.
Oh.
Don't hurt yourself.
No. Hang on.
Are you done? Got anything else to add?
I am free.
Oh, well, there you go.
I was told to download the WhatsApp and the When I Work.
Yep.
And when I work, that's how I look at my schedule.
Yep.
I can't see my schedule anymore.
Oh, well.
So, I don't know when I have to work next.
Oh, well.
So, I think I technically got fired.
Maybe that was your friend doing you a favor.
It better have been her doing me a favor. And you know what?
What?
That's even better than I could have hoped.
Well, good.
You know why?
Why?
Because if she physically calls me to say, where are you? I will say, you removed me from the system, so I don't know when I'm working anymore.
Oh. Okay.
I can't see my own schedule. So, goodbye, click.
Well, there you go.
I am free.
Simplify.
Simplified. I am uninstalling everything.
Simplify.
Oh, simplify.
So you had a schedule and now you don't.
No, I don't.
You had a schedule.
I had a schedule.
And now you don't.
And now I don't.
Okay, well, there you go.
Life is good.
Well.
Yes.
And you can just send your friend a note like, thanks for taking me off the schedule. I'm sorry things didn't work out.
I
wish you
will.
all the best. I'll see you blankety blank.
Oh, I already have.
Okay.
I already have.
All right. Well, there you go. All right.
I am done.
You mean we had this conversation for nothing?
No, we didn't. We got content.
Content.
Monetize the pain.
Monetize the pain.
Isn't that our motto? Now it's just my turn.
The pain. Yep.
I am elated.
All right, well.
All right, I'm ecstatic. And that's it, folks. You good?
I am fine.
Awesome. Well, that's it, folks.
Feel the endorphins.
Oh, I can feel it. You know, I wasn't planning on partying really hard tonight because I knew one day I'd have to go back in. I'm not going back in. No.
Were you going somewhere tonight?
No.
Oh.
I just mean partying because reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get too murphed up. I think I've changed my mind.
Well, you know, hey.
I know. Well, that's it, folks. I was your host, Bel-E.
And I was your co-host, Mr. Scratch.
And we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Goodbye.